Hey y'all, how you doing today? Today or tonight rather, out here in the garage building the carburetor for it's a Holley 2280 two-barrel carburetor. Small little two-barrel. I know you see this and you think, oh, that's just a one barrel. No, it's a two-barrel. Um, you'll find these carburetors on a whole lot of early 80s. Um, Late 70s on up into like 88, 89 model 318s. Um, Especially in the cars, um, the rear drive cars that use the 318s. I'm just doing some final cleaning on this, trying to get it looking decent, getting some of the rust off some of the metal and stuff like that. So, see, like this throttle linkage bit. I have painted these before, but this is for a neighbor of my mother and my father. Their neighbor has an 81, 82, 83 model Dodge truck, and it's a D150. You know, it's very similar to mine, except his is just got this. It's got 318 with this small two-barrel carburetor like this. It's identical to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild this one, and I'm just going to swap out and I'm going to rebuild this one, just sell him this one. Maybe take his old one. I don't know. I'll probably just sell him this one because I've actually got one of these already. You know, they're not like really rare, desirable carburetors, but they are expensive to rebuild. I got a kit for one of these. It's 40 bucks. The little Carter BBDs, you know, the kits for them is like $26, $22. So it's like, you know, it's kind of crazy. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about is when you are doing stuff like this, rebuilding any kind of carburetors, you're gonna run into issues of time. All right. Now that looks a little bit better. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and like polish it all up to like a fine finish. Just get some of the really rough corrosion off of it. But yes, anyway, time. When you're cleaning, you're going to want to get all of the crud and the filth out of the carburetor. It's imperative. It's like one of the most important things, one of the most important steps you can do when you're rebuilding a carburetor. Okay? Now, the other day I made a video about this same carburetor and I showed before I cleaned it. So now, look in there. You see what I'm talking about? It's pretty clean down in there now. So there's nothing that's going to come loose and go into the jets, plug up the jets, or anything like that. That's why you want to clean this as well as you do. Now I like to, like I was saying earlier, I'd like to like paint some of this metal stuff, but here's the problem. It's very gas. You know, sometimes the gas will sometimes leak out of certain places and get on the painted metal parts, and then it just goes all the heck in the handbasket then. So I just make it a habit to not paint any of these metal parts on these because it just, you know, what I try to do is I try to just, you know, polish all the metal up really good and probably put some sort of like oily coating on them that will at least keep them looking pretty decent for a while. So as you can see right here, you know, I got this piece of metal, but if you also notice that right here I got a little bend right here, so I'm probably going to have to just take a hammer and just flatten that out. It's no big deal. That's one of the things you need to do when you're rebuilding any kind of carburetor, is you need to be looking for all of the little malfunctions, all the little things that can cause problems. on the last video, I tested the floats. They are working fantastic, so that's great. If you notice this tab is part of what you need to be adjusting to get the float level correct. If you are rebuilding the carburetor and you do not adjust this, you are basically wasting your money and your time. All right, so rebuilding carburetors is not, it's not brain surgery. It's not that hard. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this dude up and we're going to get inside of it. Oh, first I'm going to clean this out with some brake parts cleaner and get out any of the remaining kind of residue that might be in there. I'll let all of this soak in the parts washer here for about 2 or 3 days. I cleaned it all up yesterday evening, and now I'm going to take it and hose it down with a brake parts cleaner and get in all the passages and make sure all the passages flow like they're supposed to. Okay, so I'll be right back. All right, y'all. I have went through and sprayed brake parts cleaner in all of these little holes right here and all of the parts you see laying here. It's very important to get out any little bits of grit, gunk, everything has to come out. It is just, you cannot imagine how important that is. I mean, I've got all this stuff laying on a clean towel because I don't want this stuff to get dirty. From here on out, this stuff has to stay very, very clean. Very clean. Now, one more little thing. Do not be afraid to use a piece of wire to sometimes clean out certain little passages if you cannot get all the goop out. Okay? Sometimes some of this stuff is very, very stubborn, and no amount of chemical or anything else will get everything out. Also, too, another little trick. Maintain all of your hardware, all your clips, your screws, everything, springs. Even if it is stuff you know is going to be replaced in the kit, maintain it anyway, because you want to make sure that everything matches up like it's supposed to. Gaskets, clips, springs, all of that stuff. So, now, another little trick. Take your gaskets. Go ahead and match them up to where they're going to go. All right, so we are looking like, let's see. There we go. See? That one matches up perfectly to this metal plate. Now, like I said, though, I've got to go and I've got to straighten this little piece out right here of the plate. It's got just a little bit. It's not much. It's just a tiny little bit. But that's got to be replaced. That's got to be repaired before it can go on. So that's something. All right, so this gasket, we won't be using this one. Now, most of these kits will come, you will have, after you're done, you will have 2, 3, 4 gaskets that you're not going to be able to use. Okay, so you just want to go through, you want to match things up. You want to make sure that the kit that you got actually works with the carburetor you have. So we can see right there, that gasket looks like that will work. Okay, now I've done several of these, so I'm kind of like, this is kind of like riding a bicycle for me. I mean, it's sort of old hat. But regardless, there are sometimes going to be things I'm going to pick up and I'm going to learn. So as you can see right here, we're going to match this one up right here. Let's see. Now these carburetors they do have a neat little feature. They have these dowels, like this one does right here. They have these little dowel pins where it helps you fit the gasket down on there. Now, I'm going to show you 2 little tricks about these gaskets that are going to be very, very useful. Stuff that, oh wait a minute, here we go. Here's another one of those gaskets like this, but now something you can do is go through and compare them. So as you can see, see there's a little bit of difference between these two. If you look right here, this one has these holes right here, this one does not. Okay, so then if you look at these two over here, they have these same holes. So this one is just a little bit different. I don't think it's this one here. I'm very certain it is this one. I like that. That looks good to me. I'm good with that. Okay. Now there is our needle and seat. This is a very unusual looking needle and seat, but this is the one that the 2280 uses. So it's just like the old one that came off of here. Gasket for our Venturi body piece here. So, all right. And I think that may be it right there. Okay. So now you will probably see many different types and styles of these gaskets, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you're going to find out is you're going to see probably thinner ones like this. You're probably going to see some that are really thin like that right there. These base gaskets. That's what I'm talking about. These base gaskets. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to use the thicker gasket if you can. Okay. Now it's okay to use this little bit of a thinner one right here, but here's something to keep in mind. Okay. Some of these bases aren't perfectly flat and level. Okay. Now you can take a straight edge and you can go over them and you can make sure that they're flat and level. I have went over this one with a stone and sandpaper and everything else to make sure that all the flat places are flat. Okay. But now sometimes though the intake manifold may not be perfectly flat either, and that can cause a vacuum leak. Now you can use the sticker gasket like I like to use, and usually the studs that hold the carburetor down or the bolts that you use are long enough. However, sometimes they're not, and sometimes you have to use the thinner one. Either way, either one is good. But, you know, and then some of them have the little divider right here in the middle, and it's just, you know, just something to keep in mind. Now, your accelerator pump. This one is plastic. The actual diaphragm of the accelerator pump is some sort of silicone or maybe Viton rubber. So I'm just going to replace it right now. Get that done and over with. There's the new one. I'll slide that down on there. Work it on with my thumbs. There we go. Now, let you see that up close. See, there's just some little bits that it has to fit over in order to go all the way down on there. Okay, so just a little force it down on there, done with it. Now, I may get a few people saying they don't like this, but this particular truck, like I said, it's an 83. It doesn't get driven a whole lot, and it's kind of something that the owner is fixing up. In this county and in a lot of East Tennessee, we do not have emissions testing. Okay, that being the case, this is part of the emissions system, but this thing is toast. And I tried to find one of these. I couldn't even find them. Oh no, I did find them, and they're really expensive. So the owner is not, I know him, and he is not going to go for that, and he will probably not want to do that. His carburetor is identical to this, and he's even taken this off of his. So there we go. And lots of times when these things get a few years old, they just go out, and it's it's pretty expensive to get them. All right. Now, one other little thing, one other little trick to show you about gaskets. And I've showed this before on some of my older videos, but I'm going to do it again, okay? Oh, you'll want to make sure, keep all of this stuff in here for the time being, because like I said, there are other carburetors, some of this stuff fits, okay? Now, we have some jets, yeah, in here. They actually go down in here in the float bowl. These little doodads right there, this sort of a spring-loaded jet deal. You have a little spring-loaded rod down there underneath the jet. I tried to get those out the other day. They were really difficult to get out. So I just kind of left them in there. I may try to get them out again. Okay? So, but, oh, trick about gaskets. Take your gaskets, put them in some sort of container that you can put oil in. Oop, almost dropped that one. And then we're going to put all our gaskets down in here. And we're just going to make sure this one fits. Okay. All right, yep. That fits good enough. Okay. Now we're going to cover these suckers in oil. And let's see. Here we go. Now, you might be wondering, why go to this trouble? Why do this? Well, very simply, if you don't, what can happen is when you have to take this carburetor apart again, if you do have to take it apart, you know, to make a jet change, or to maybe readjust the floats, which is probably a lot more likely, you're going to have problems getting these gaskets to come apart. And this oil will help aid that. This is just regular old engine oil. There's nothing special about this. Okay? You don't even have to buy a special brand or anything else. This is just typical old engine oil. Okay? Now I said old, but what I meant is that it's just your regular engine oil, nothing special. So soak your gaskets in this. Soak them for at least, 20-30 minutes, something like that. Give them a few minutes to soak in there and to soak the oil up. As you can see, this large one, is already soaking that oil up. Now, when they soak this oil up, they'll swell a little bit, so they'll be a little bit bigger. Yes, you will have some oil in the carburetor, but it's not that big a deal. All right, no big deal. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to try to get these little spring-loaded, these jets with a little spring-loaded rod. It has another pair of jets that goes in here into the float bowl, right there where those two little holes are at down in there. And you can see down in there, I'm not sure if you can, but then it has these two little spring-loaded deals. I'm going to try to get them out. Be right back. Okay, everybody. Y'all, I'm back, and I have got those little, these little jets. They have a spring-loaded plunger underneath them there, and the best way to get them out is to just use a flat tip screwdriver on them, and then once you get them out, they just unscrew. Okay, so get them broke loose. Just clean out the hole where they go in at, and probably use a little bit of wire here, piece of a wire to do this. Make sure to wear some safety glasses, okay, because that brake parts cleaner, that stuff gets in your eyes, and it is very, very, very painful. Ask me how I know. matter of fact, I'll let you see. You see all of that on there on the lens? That's from earlier this evening where I got some brake parts cleaner on the lens here. So you can see these helped tremendously. So yeah, I may look like a dork, but I tell you what, at least I'm keeping the crap out of my eyes. I'm not having to make them run to the emergency room to go clean some crap out of my eyes. Now, what you'll need to do when you get these out. Oh, if you have any trouble getting these out, these little spring-loaded plunger rods here on these little jets, what you can do is clip that off because you get new ones anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, yeah, got brand new ones here in the kit. So there we go. Got the brand new ones in there. Comes with the springs and everything. Do not throw any of your old stuff away until you're done with the carburetor. You know it works, and you know there's no need to keep the old stuff. Okay. So another little tidbit. Most all of your better carburetor kits, they come with some instructions you throw down on the floor and walk all over. Okay, just like this. Instructions. It has the blown up or blown apart little instruction manual there. So let's see if I can find those little jets that has the little spring-loaded rods. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. 48 and 49. Power valves. Power valve assembly. Mechanical. Power valve assembly vacuum. They're both identical. So, okay. Now, when I get this carburetor put together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it on my $50 318 because it has a Carter 2-barrel on it right now. It's a BBD that's exactly the same size as this. And for those of you who don't know, for those of you who haven't watched that video yet, if you want to, go back and watch that video. But for those of you who don't know, these little carburetors, they're great for a daily driver. They're great if you have if you have a stock 225 with a 1-barrel carburetor and you're looking to upgrade. This is a nice upgrade. If you have a 318 and you're looking to upgrade, not really. I mean, look how small these are. These aren't very big barrels here, okay? And there's only 2 of them. They make better options. There is better options out there, okay? Now, also, one other little thing. These bolt pattern that these have, this is kind of particular to these, okay, to this size. The Holleys and these Holley 2280s and the Carter BBDs. It's a smaller bolt pattern, and which makes taking like a Motorcraft 2-barrel or a larger Holley 2-barrel, like a 2300 or something like that, and bolting it on, no, doesn't work. So you have to go get an adapter or make an adapter. It's just, it's a lot of hassle. So I'm going to let this stuff sit here tonight because it's late. I'm going to let these gaskets soak up some oil. And I've got to get ready for work tomorrow. That's right. I am back to work. I've been called back. So I wasn't laid off. I was furloughed. Okay. So I work for tire discounters. And they furloughed about 4 of us. So far, we've all came back, which is great. But, you know, so now hopefully it's just all business as usual. So anyway, all right. Now I'm going to cover this stuff up with my towel, cover up all these parts with my towel, and we're going to get tomorrow evening. I'm going to get to work on this stuff and start putting everything together. One other little tip about gaskets: if you want them to stay in place on something like this carburetor body, what you'll need to do is you will need to take the carburetor, and put a little grease on the gaskets. Now, sometimes the oil enough will be enough to hold it on there, but sometimes you will have to use a little bit of wheel bearing grease, but that's not a big deal. All right, so I'm going to take these big main parts and cover them up here because I don't want any dust and dirt and anything getting all over them. So all right, so that's everything right there. Okay, so I would like to thank all of you all for watching, seriously, and if you can, please go down below and click thumbs up and all of that stuff. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, anything, put them down below. Love that interaction, a lot of fun. And so stay safe out there. God bless. Keep your head about you. Oh, son of a gun. I meant to tell you all, the cleaner stuff I use, I covered it in an earlier video, okay? It's cheap. It's really, really cheap, but it's very, very effective. And it's just soap. Okay, that's all it really is. It's just soap. Now, yes, I could take all of these engine parts, like right now I've got a time and cover over there in that cleaning solution, and I could take, and it's used stuff, but it's still working. And I could take all this stuff to, all my 360 engine parts to somebody and have some machine shop clean them, but it would cost me some money. Okay, now that money I could be spending on that, I could turn around, I could take that money and I could put it on like other parts for the 360. So if I do this myself, I'm saving some money. Now I could go and I could buy a bunch of brake parts cleaner and some toothbrushes and stuff, and I could be cleaning all this stuff a little bit at a time. But here's the thing, it takes time. So you need something that's not going to take a whole lot of time, it's not going to cost a whole lot of money. So that cleaner over there is what I'm talking about. Okay, so stuff like that, okay, that's how you save money. Okay, use your head. Okay, you see, a couple of days ago, look how clean this is now. Yes, it has this kind of this oxidation on it, this sort of oxidation on it, but now I can take a brush and I can clean that. I can clean all that oxidation off, and I can make that look nice and neat and pretty, and later I can paint it. I can install that on my 360 over there to clear the headers, and it'll be great. Okay, and that thing looked like it was just garbage to some people. That thing had like real thick grease all over it, oil leaking all over it for years and years and years. Put it in some cleaner down there, left it in there for 2 or 3 days, took it out, hosed it off. There you go. Done, done, done. Earlier today, took this. Look how much cleaner that is. Look at that. Are you seeing this? I am wiping stuff off with my fingers. Fingers. Okay? I am not sponsored by nobody. Alright? No one. Alright? Which I'm not complaining. Okay? So if one of y'all wants to sponsor me, hey. Okay, but as you can see, this is just a regular old Magnum Mopar small block Magnum timing cover. As you can see, looky there. This has not been in there that long. I put this in there last night. I flipped it over earlier today, and now this stuff it's just coming right off, which is just incredible. Now, tomorrow I will get that thing out and I will hose that off, and it'll be like It'll be almost perfect. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Use your head. Clean the stuff yourself. Save some money. Look at this. Look at this. This container. This is the from an old an old refrigerator that had all kinds of. This is from an old refrigerator. This was the drawer in the bottom of the refrigerator for the fresh fruit or fresh vegetables and things like that. So, you know, you can use this stuff, okay? You don't have to go out here and spend a whole big bunch of money to have equipment and all of this stuff, you know, that costs lots and lots of money. You know, if you're willing to like put some time and effort into it, you can like use some, you know, use some smarts, and you can go through and you can clean this stuff and make this stuff look like brand new. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So make it look brand new, and then you don't have to turn around and buy, you know, several hundreds or several thousands of dollars in engine parts, you know. And to me, when people use their head and get themselves, you know, get themselves, you know, ahead in the game, they can. That I love that. So, okay. I thank you all for watching again. And like I said before, again, questions, comments, ideas, anything, put them down below. Please do give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And thank you very much. And stay safe out there. Watch out for that coronavirus. It's still going to be an issue for some time to come, it looks like. And God bless. Have a good one.